Hello everyone, welcome back to English online class. Today let's discuss a new lesson from the Snapshot textbook. The title of the lesson is The Summer of the Beautiful White Horse by William Saroyan. Let's discuss the theme first. The theme of The Summer of the Beautiful White Horse by William Saroyan is honor. The young boy, Aram, explains the underlying philosophies of his large extended family. Although they were poor, they were known for their qualities like honesty and trust. They never took the advantage of others and they were not thieves. So now let's read the lesson. This story is about two poor Armenian boys who belong to a tribe whose hallmarks are trust and honesty. So this story, we have two main characters, two Armenian boys, and their names are Aram and Murad. And their hallmark of their tribe is trust and honesty. They belong to the Geroglanian tribe, and that tribe, the main qualities of those people are trusty and honesty. Now you can see the location of Armenia here in the map. Armenia is a landlocked country which is filled with land in all the four sides, and it is situated between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea. Now let's read the next para. One day back there in the good old days when I was 9 and the world was full of every imaginable kind of magnificence and life was still a delightful and mysterious dream, my cousin Murad, who was considered crazy by everybody who knew him except me, came to my house at 4 in the morning and woke me up tapping on the window of my room. So one day what happened is, Aram is a narrator of this story, and one day when he was sleeping in his house, his cousin, his name was Murad, he was considered as the craziest member in his family because he will do anything to make his dreams come true. So one day at 4 o'clock in the early morning, he came to Aram's house and he was tapping on his window. Aram, he said. I jumped out of bed and looked out of the window. I couldn't believe what I saw. So when the call was heard, Aram woke up and he was peeping out of the window to see who was calling him. And when he looked out of the window, he couldn't believe his eyes. Let's see what happened. It wasn't morning yet, but it was summer, and with daybreak, not many minutes, around the corner of the world, it was light enough for me to know I was not dreaming. So still it was around 4 o'clock, so the morning sun rays has not yet come down to the earth, but still he understood that he was not dreaming. What was happening is exactly real. My cousin Murad was sitting on a beautiful white horse. I stuck my head out of the window and rubbed my eyes. So when he peeped out of the window, he saw that Murad was sitting on a beautiful white horse. He couldn't believe his eyes. What was going around him? He was thinking. Yes, he said in Armenian. It's a horse. You are not dreaming. Make it quick if you want to ride. So Murad told him, yes, it's a horse in Armenian language. And he told, if you want to ride this horse, quickly dress up and come out. I knew my cousin Murad enjoyed being alive more than anybody else who had ever fallen into the world by mistake, but this was more than even I could believe. So he already knew that his cousin Murad loved to ride the horse. But this was unbelievable. In the first place, my earliest memories had been memories of horses, and my first longings had been longings to ride. This was the wonderful part. So even the narrator, the boy Aram, also loved to ride a horse. Longing means desire to do something. So even he also longed to ride the horse. In the second place, we were poor. This was a part that wouldn't permit me to believe what I saw. We were poor. We had no money. Our whole tribe was poverty-stricken. So he was thinking about their poverty, and he thought that this thought will not permit him to ride the horse. They cannot afford a horse riding. So he was thinking their whole tribe was under poverty. How can he ride a horse? Every branch of the Geroglanian family was living in the most amazing and comical poverty in the world. So their tribe, that is Geroglanian family, that is a Armenian tribe, they all belong to the poverty line. So he was thinking about their fate. Nobody could understand where we ever got money enough to keep us with food in our bellies, not even the old men of the family. So all the people will be wondering how they survive in this world without any money. So that much poorer they were. Most important of all, though, we were famous for our honesty. So even though they were poor, all the people knew that the people, those who belong to Geroglanian tribe, are known for their honesty. So even though they are poor, they were honest. We had been famous for our honesty for something like 11 centuries, even when we had been the wealthiest family in what we like to think was the world. So right from the 11th century, they were famous for their honesty, and even when they were the wealthiest family at that time also, they were famous for their honesty. We were proud first, honest next, and after that we believed in right and wrong. None of us would take advantage of anybody in the world, let alone steal. So even though they were poor, none of the members in their family has ever tried to steal anything because they were known for their honesty. They says that they are proud first of their Geroglanian tribe. Nothing harm should come to their quality of honesty. Consequently, even though I could see the horse so magnificent, even though I could smell it so lovely, even though I could hear it breathing so exciting, I couldn't believe the horse had anything to do with my cousin Morad, or with me, or with any of the other members of our family, asleep or awake. Because I knew my cousin Morad couldn't have bought the horse. And if he couldn't have bought it, he must have stolen it. And I refused to believe he had stolen it. So even though after waking up from his sleep, he had seen that Morad standing with the horse, he can see the horse so glorious and so lovely, he could feel its smell, and also he felt it as so exciting to see a horse because he loved to ride a horse. But he suddenly think about his family quality, that they should be honest. So he was thinking from where Morad had managed to buy this horse. He cannot afford that much money. Then he is thinking that Morad must have stolen it. So it could harm their family quality. No member of the Geroglanian family could be a thief. So their family, which is known for honesty, no one can be a thief from their tribe. I stared first at my cousin and then at the horse. There was a pious stillness and humor in each of them, which on the one hand delighted me and on the other frightened me. So first he looked at the cousin and he was staring. What is going on, he couldn't understand. So since he was a small boy, he had a mixed feelings. He was delighted, he was happy to see the horse, but also he was frightened at the same time because it will affect their family name. Morad, I said, why did you steal this horse? Leap out of the window, he said, if you want to ride. So Aaron was asking, Morad, "What have you done? From where did you steal this horse?" So Murad said, "If you want to ride the horse, just come out of the window. Let's go for a ride." It was true then. He had stolen the horse. There was no question about it. He had come to invite me to ride or not as I choose. So here the narrator Aram is telling, now he confirmed that Murad had stolen this horse and now he had come there to invite him to ride the horse. Well, it seemed to me stealing a horse for a ride was not the same thing as stealing something else such as money. For all I knew, maybe it was not stealing at all. So the narrator has thought it in a different way. Now he's telling they longed to ride a horse and that's why Murad had stolen the horse. And after they ride, they can return the horse back to the owner. So it cannot be told as stealing. Stealing is something like we use it and should not return. But here, after their use of riding the horse, they are going to return it. So it is no more stealing. If you were crazy about horses, the way my cousin Murad and I were, it was not stealing. It would not become stealing until we offered to sell the horse, which of course I knew we would never do. So until they think of stealing the horse and selling it for money, that is only called as so-called stealing. So now it is just to use it for their pleasure, so that it cannot be called as stealing. "Let me put on some clothes," I said. "All right," he said, "but hurry." I leaped into my clothes. So he told, "Okay, let me get ready. I'll come just in a minute," so that they can go for the ride. I jumped down to the yard from the window and leaped up on the horse behind my cousin Murad. So immediately after dressing up, he jumped down to the yard from the window and got on the horse behind his cousin Murad. That year we lived at the edge of town on Walnut Avenue. Behind our house was the country, vineyards, orchards, irrigation ditches and country roads. So they were living in the edge of the town and on the Walnut Avenue. So from there they started to ride the horse. In less than 3 minutes we were on Olive Avenue and then the horse began to trot. The air was new and lovely to breathe. So within 3 minutes from Walnut Avenue they reached Olive Avenue and the horse started to move faster. They were enjoying their ride. Let's go through the quick points. There were 2 Armenian boys, Aram, who is narrating the story, of 9 years, and his cousin Murad, 13 years old. They belong to the tribe of Garoglanian and they are known for their honesty. They have an intense longing to ride a horse. But he can't afford a horse because they belong to the Garoglanian tribe as they were very poor. Now, the incident that happened when Murad had arrived there, he was asleep in his room. At 4 in the morning, Aram heard a tap on the window and it was Murad outside with a beautiful white horse. The narrator's surprise. He couldn't believe what he saw. He knew that Murad couldn't buy a horse as they were extremely poor and poverty-stricken. It is very difficult for them to afford a meal because they belonged to the tribe of Garoglanian family which was known for honesty. So they couldn't have stolen it also. So he asked Murad and he finalized that he had stolen it. Aram is a 9-year-old boy from the Garoglanian tribe, a member of an Armenian community living among the lush fruit orchards and vineyards of California. One morning, Aram is awakened at 4 in the morning by his 13-year-old cousin Murad, who is thought to be crazy by everyone except Aram. He had a way with animals. Aram is shocked to see that Murad is sitting on a beautiful white horse. Aram has always wanted to ride a horse, but his family is too poor to afford one. However, in spite of being poor, The Garoglanian tribe is noted for its honesty and trust. As a result, it is unthinkable that Morad would have stolen the horse. Aram felt that his cousin couldn't have stolen the horse. Morad invited Aram to ride the horse. The idea of Morad stealing the horse drained away from Aram's mind, as he felt that it wouldn't become stealing unless they offered to sell the horse. They enjoyed rides on the horses for a few hours. Let's wind up here now. Hope you have understood the first part of the lesson. If you have any doubt, feel free to ask. Thank you all.